Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger. My friends, the big Street Fighter patch has now been out for a couple of days, and obviously it's going to make big waves over the future of the course of the game. And here we're about to talk winners and losers of the patch. So obviously this patch, if you followed along, pretty much everyone is coming out overall better. There's a couple that aren't, but most people are coming out better. And the thing about this, to me specifically, winners and losers of the patch isn't just who got buffed, who got nerfed, right? Just because you got buffed doesn't mean necessarily that you're a winner. Just because you got nerfed doesn't mean you are necessarily a loser. And we'll go into it, I guess, but I want to talk about the real standout characters one way or another about this patch. And with that, we're going to start with Ryu, because Ryu is a winner if there ever was one. So Ryu got the world. Ryu, they're forcing the boy back into the spotlight. It's not just like a couple buffs here or there and he winds up being better. No. They're forcing the issue with Ryu. They want Ryu to be played and, you know, showing up in a competitive sense again. Not just everyone picks Ken as the Shoto of choice, right? There's so much. I'm not going to belabor every single change because it's too much. But like things like stand heavy punch being 4 on hit, plus 4 on hit rather, right? So it links into jab. So that's something, right? Importantly, on punch counter, naturally goes into heavy Hashogeki. So you can just kind of do whatevs from there, right? That's a very strong random whiff punish button now, to say the least. Speaking of Hashogeki, they do almost double the amount of chip damage on drive gauge that they did before. That's kind of big, especially, you know, for your, I don't really care if you block +2 on block move, right? For it to do a lot more chip damage, pretty welcome. And for the lights and the mediums, you're quite a bit closer. So you can just like kind of threaten tick throws and all that kind of stuff a lot more. And thus, you know, also back out shimmy. And then when you shimmy them, heavy punch, heavy hasho, go from there, right? It all kind of flows together. So much of it is just general game plan is better. Forward heavy punch being +3 on block. You know, if you could but only close your eyes. +3 being a nice magic number, meaning no possible trades if you go for stand medium punch right after the fact. Stand medium punch with the target combo. The target combo is now -4 on block. And hey, guess what? -4 on block from that range. Like, nothing's connecting, so it's completely safe, right? And the fact that the target combos all go in the Denjin. Do it in the corner. Hey, +7 in their face. You can do a lot with that. And of course, any random solar plexus strike just comes a free buff, even mid-screen, right? That's really good. The overhead, it being +7 on drive rush. So before, I mentioned in the patch notes video, it couldn't go into back heavy punch. A note about that. So when I tried it out against Cammy. And for whatever reason, against Cammy when she's crouching, it can occasionally whiff. Against other characters, it does not. So I guess I picked a bad character to try out on. But that does mean, yeah, if you actually overhead them, you're going to get back heavy punch, and then you can do all the fun stuff from there. And say, if for whatever reason you do catch them standing, +7 still means, you know, you can go into like whatever. If you want to be fancy, it does mean it goes into heavy Shoryu now, because that is 7-frame startup as well, right? Remains to be seen how useful that'll be. But yeah, so it will go to back heavy punch on crouchers on the drive rush version. Just watch out with Cammy, or Hurtbox is weird. Everyone else, it's fine. Everything does more damage. Tattoos do more damage. Donkey kicks do more damage. Donkey kicks faster. So it can be a natural combo from lights. EX does less scaling. And the combo from it where you back heavy kick, because that bounces now. You can always guaranteed get the heavy Shoryu. And now you can live out your wildest dreams on hit and just kind of go for whatever, whenever, right? The damage potential of this character is skyrocketing to an insane degree. His pressure's getting better, his neutral's getting better, even random stuff like EX Fireball. They are letting you have EX Fireball and the level 1 super on screen at the same time. So that means the boy is always going to win Fireball Wars if you call it, right? You make that hard call out, and then it's Street Fighter 4 all over again, right? Because now this is something you can do. Of course, and also Denjin buff, right? You don't have to burn Denjin right away. So he's extra always going to win the Fireball War, because now you choose when you want to burn it. And because you don't have the threat of randomly burning it on a Fireball, right? That means you can keep it for up close where it'll really matter. both, you know, just for the general version, for the EX Crumple version. Everything's getting better. Capcom is putting the boy on the juice. They want him to be represented in tournaments. They want him to be just more represented overall, and he is a highly played character because the boy is Ryu, but they want him to be strong. This isn't like, oh, he might be strong, you know, quality. This is forcing the issue, and Ryu's the winner of the patch. Now, speaking of another character where they're forcing the issue like Ryu, Zangief is a big-time winner. The only thing holding Zangief back in this patch is the fact that he's a grappler, and the archetype's traditionally not a strong one. But everything does more damage. Everything gains more meter. Everything gains you more drive gauge. Everything deals more drive gauge damage. Like, I can't go through all of it because we'd be here for an hour. Like, I'll give you one move, an important move, the headbutt. So the headbutt deals 100 more damage. Deals a clean 1,000 damage now. Used to do 900. Cool. When you're gaining super meter, you gain literally double what you gained before. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but considering you do it a lot, that's not nothing that you gain double the super meter, right? You gain more drive gauge on hit. You deal more drive gauge damage on block. Considering the move is +4 on block, that's pretty okay. Very just easy to help burn people out here. Not hard at all. And of course, bearing the lead, it's +7 on hit, which means it naturally combos into the Hell Stab. Pretty important combo move for the character, right? So counter hit no longer. This is just a natural combo. That's really big. Not the least of which, also, like, Hell Stab gains you more meter. Lariat also does 200 more damage, right? So just on everything, you're just doing more damage across the board on, like, everything Zangief does. And of course, lots of little things like crouch medium kick is +3 on hit now, which means it's +7 on, you know, a drive rush, which means it also combos in the Hell Stab, so that's a new route. Even things that don't directly affect Zangief, like it doesn't show up on his patch note changes, are a big deal. Like the fact that parry now has a much bigger throw hitbox, you know, to dissuade people from whiffing parry. Yeah. It certainly looked like Jury teleported into my grab, didn't it? Because she basically did. So Zangief uniquely suited to grab people from even further away whiffing any kind of drive parry, right? So if you ever see him turn blue, just walk forward a step and just go for that grab. Just improvements to his general neutral, like everything on knee hammer's better, does more damage, it's more plus on hit, it's less negative on block. If you do hit, it'll push the opponent back less, so less likely to get him pushed back out of like a hit confirm, that kind of stuff. Wheel kick, that's also been doing really good here because they changed the frames, so it's less disadvantage on block and more pushback on block. So if it gets blocked, your big neutral skip move, hey, there we go, right? Like, all these things are working in his favor. And once again, check the patch notes if you didn't, because like the numbers on everything is just better across the board. Zangief, big time winner in this patch. Like even that crouch heavy punch change, right, on the punish counter, I made fun of that at first originally, but like, no, like there's some stuff to it. It's not bad, actually. Like legitimately, actually, it's not bad. So many little things too, like regular air pile driver, not just the EX version, can combo in a lot of situations it couldn't before, right? So more utility, more damage, more meter, more everything, like more everything. Once again, the only flaw here is he's still a grappler. And people don't like when grapplers get top tier. So if he winds up doing a little too well, now expect the next patch to nerf him again, right? But for now, Zangief, big winner. Aki, another very, very big winner. Not the least of which, he's got the super cool outfit 3, which I love. But just so many changes, and a lot of them, even the ones that seem small, have major consequence. Like stand light kick. It's now 4 frames, right? It used to be 5. And I guess it's worse on block now too, but that's whatever, right? What changes could such a small move make? Well, it turns out a lot. So not the least of which is just basic combo structure. Like crouch light punch is 4 frames. So therefore, stuff like that is now possible. Was not possible before. Straight up. So if you're looking for more optimal damage off small bread and butter combos, you'll get a couple 100 points more, right? Maybe you won't have the setup or whatever, but if you're just looking for the kill, there's that. For combo structure, there's the little thing of EX Whip is exactly +4 on hit and applies that poison, right? And Stand Light Kick, well, has 4 frames. And unlike your other 4-framer, Stand Light Kick goes into Medium Lash, which will trigger the Toxic Blossom, right? Your detonation, get your combo ability going. So now, let me give you an example punish counter combo that wasn't possible before. There you go. That's not bad damage, right? All things told. We reapply poison at the end. And we didn't have poison at the start, right? That's one of the big things. Combos where she didn't already have poison applied can now get a lot better. When you do have poison, sure. That's easy, right? That's the focus of the character. But when you don't, now you can get some stuff, right? We start this punish counter combo without poison, and we can still get all the big explosions and all the stuff after the fact, thanks to a 4-framer. Also, you know another move that's +4 on hit? The old stabby stabs are exactly +4, so say we do have poison applied. Hey, there we go, right? So another route that's opened up. Not necessarily optimal, but more routes are opening up. And of course, now punish counters, more routes opening up. This is really applicable as well when there is no poison applied, is the lash, the regular light lash. Now crumples on punish counter, and if they already have poison up, then the crumple's even better yet, right? Also, the move got a range buff. Not much, but like it hits from like just in front of like round start position, which makes it a much more better poke because it applies poison. So now, another alternate route to apply poison at a punish counter. So this is another example, right? Thanks to the fact that we get the punish counter, it knocks down right away. You know, a little bit closer than mid-screen, we can get a combo like this. And once again, these combos I'm showing you are nowhere necessarily optimal, right? This is just what I can figure out pretty quick. So her damage without, you know, the gimmick already applied, without the poison already applied, is going through the roof. Obviously, all the combos are still applicable when poison is up, and you'll probably figure out a few new routes, but the damage is just going up big time. And of course, those are the fancy buffs. There's good quality of life buffs that are not fancy, but are very strong, like Crouch Medium Kick, +5 on hit now. So that means, say, off a Drive Rush, it is +9, which means it goes directly into Stand Heavy Kick, which is the party starter. So if you ever land this, there you go, right? All works, all one big happy family. Also, not the least of which, it is +1 on block. It used to be -3 on block. So a plus on block move, not bad. Also, if you do it point blank, you're still in jab distance. That's your 4-framer, which means you will always win if they press a button. And if they do press a button, she's got good counter hit routes as well, directly from it, right? So just big buff all around. And I'm sure you've heard about the change where she's basically, for the most part, immune to fireballs now when she's doing her leap out of her stance, right? Which applies poison, or if you're already poisoned, it'll apply the, Toxic Blossom, you get a crumple, you get a combo, right? Now that zoning is being reintroduced into the game in a big way, both with Akuma making his debut, as Akuma's got a pretty proficient fireball game, y'all, and the fact that Ryu just somehow came back into the game with his buffs, right? Fireballs are going to be a thing more than ever, so having, the ability just to kind of lame out and threaten with, don't you dare hit a button against me kind of move. And obviously there's more small buffs as well. But the big thing is more damage potential, better damage potential, more options to get damage, especially when poison is not applied, better combo routes, better neutral, better basically a lot of things, right? I'm not going to say she's going to catapult to the top of the tier list or anything, because that's not what we're going for here. But just the quality of life and everything will absolutely move her further up the tier list than where she is now, right? When it comes to getting buffs, she's got so many, and all of them are of consequence. So definitely big time winner Aki is. And the last winner I want to talk about is Honda. Much in the same vein of Aki, Honda is not going to the top of the tier list or anything like that, right? But what he does is he just got a lot more fun to play. Spamming headbutt and butt slam is fun on its own, I guess, right? But they did nerf aspects of the character people found very frustrating, but they gave him lots of strong quality of life buffs to make up for it. So yeah, due to the various headbutt nerfs, the various butt slam nerfs, which we cover in the patch video, check that out if you haven't already. Like, those aspects are nerfed, but like, let's talk about what's good. Stand medium punch got an appreciable increase in range. And now it's basically his dominant footsie's button. And not only that, you know, range buff is good, it is also now +6 on hit versus it used to be +4. So, you know, if you're a little deeper, it links into other, you know, important target combo strings. Keep in mind the move has always been plus on block as well, which is very good. So when you're bullying with it and say you're a little bit closer, if you get those counter hits, goes right into crouch medium punch on counter hit as long as you're close enough, which it did not do before, because before it would have been +6, not +8 on regular hit on counter hit, right? So more options, always better. And if you get the punish counter for whatever reason, well, it goes into itself at that point, right? And much the same here, crouch medium kick, also +6 on hit, right? So it has all those frame advantage bonuses. Makes it so he can't just walk out of Honda's range, which was the thing, because Honda really couldn't threaten with lows of consequence a lot of times, unless he wanted to go crazy with a forward heavy kick. So that's really good, right? Like, the neutral is getting buffed, not the least of which stand medium kick. After a few frames, the lower hurt box just disappears. So people who are like tailor-made just to go berserk on those crouch medium kicks, he crushes them in a way that's just absolutely nuts now. If you over-rely on a crouch medium kick, Honda will destroy you for it. Not the least of which, many of the moves, including stand medium kick, now gain the ability to cancel on the hands if you have the buff of the hands, right? Stand light kick, crouch medium kick as well, which is great because that means we get that off a low. You know, that's a big deal once again, because people will try to disrespect Honda just by walking out of his offense a lot. Now you can't as much. Deadly so if you have the buff up. Like, gimmicky Honda got nerfed, except for like some of the really stupid gimmicks where he can hit you with the back of his sweep. That actually got buffed. But you know what I mean, right? Like, the actual just gimmicky spam headbutt, spam butt slam Honda, that is nerfed. But fundamental Honda, like fundamentally sound Honda that's playing Street Fighter, right? That is getting buffed. His neutral is much better. Better pokes, better frames, better pressure. Not the least of which on the pressure front is now he can end a lot of combos ending with buff with massive advantage frames on your hard knockdown. So now he can just walk up to you, right? And you got to start guessing. Even if he only gets like, you know, basic hit confirm, right? That basic hit confirm is going to hurt more than it did before. We talked about going into medium hands on counter hit, right? So say he launches you, does the thing, and you try to hit a button on him. Wow, you're going to be eating a lot of damage off that. Naturally, you're in grab range too if you're passive and don't want to do anything, right? Like, there's just a lot of options, right? Mid-screen gives him so much pressure, and just having the buff immediately on the spot. If he gets you, you can burn, or you can save it, right? Honda can get some pretty spectacular high damage combos with the buff live. Just like Ryu, they want the buff to be much more of a factor in the match, right? And now, with the fact it's easier to set up, easier to pressure with, and also the fact that, you know, many more good buttons are able to use it, it's going to be a thing. And just other quality of life, like butt slam is always a hard knockdown. So if you're using a combo, there's no back roll, so you dash, you're always going to be plus in their face. It's just how it is, right? You're always going to be plus. And now you're literally on top of them. Guess heavy throw, guess regular throw. Am I going to mash on you? Am I going to like rely on you being passive? Then I'm going to like bully you with my plus frames. There's a lot of things Honda can do. So once again, Honda not top tier, but he's a winner in that I feel they successfully shifted his game plan. Everyone complained about headbutt and butt slam. Both of these are nerfed in a lot of different ways, as gone over in the patch notes video, right? But now he has something real to work with, right? His neutral is much better. His pressure is going to be much better. He wasn't just crippled and then shunted off into the corner, like sometimes happens in fighting games when someone gets too unpopular, right? So, not top tier, but they curtailed the issue with the character and made him very viable in other ways that are fun and, you know, conducive to playing proper Street Fighter. So, winner to me. Now, when it comes to losers, I'm going to give you a not obvious example. I'm going to pick Lily. So, obviously, Lily got pretty much nothing but buffs, right? So, she is buffed. And she even has T-Hawk theme now, right? As you can hopefully hear in the background a little bit, right? So, that's really good. The problem is this. One, the buffs aren't enough. She's a loser in that while she can do more things, and some of them are admittedly fairly interesting, because the level 1 super is faster, she can now get it in more interesting situations, right? This would have whiffed before, and this is like a solid 4K, you know, anywhere on the screen, as long as you have at least one stack of the buff up. Much the same in the corner here. Since EX Condor Wind starts up both faster and ends quicker, it recovers faster, you can sneak in some moves you couldn't before. So you can get some like cheeky new combos, right? So her damage potential overall is absolutely going up, right? Don't get me wrong. Buffed, yes. But loser, because it doesn't matter. These kind of buffs, she's doing more damage, right? But other people are like getting major shifts in their game plan, getting things they couldn't do before. A lot of what Lily is doing is absolutely stuff she did before, but just with a bit more damage. And also loser because universal changes don't affect everybody universally. So one of the changes in the game is lights just scale more in combos, right? And that's the big problem with Lily. If you've ever played Lily, what does Lily do? She builds the stock, goes burr, builds the plus frame, right? And once you block, either she goes for the grab, which is unchanged, so it's whatever, or she's going to combo you. And those combos have to always start with lights. Lily has exactly one 4-frame move. It's the light kick, right? So you're always going to see stand light kick and then either stand light punch or crouch light. Like whatever. It's going to be light, which means you're already now, look at the combo scaling, already starting at advanced scaling because lights scale more now. So that basically means every single situation, every single interaction she does off, you know, the usual build stock, make you block, guess 50-50. If you go for the strike option, she is doing less damage across the board. And Lily's not a high damage character in these situations. She is admittedly, as we just showed, getting more damage on the big home run swings off the punish counters. That kind of stuff, right? Especially because it's easier to go into the level 1 super. But in the stock situation, which is her bread and butter, the exact situation she's literally always trying to enforce at all times, she'll do less damage across the board. So now if I get you into the usual, like, you know, the old game ender combo. That's cool, but since everything is scaled so much worse, the big game ender combo might not end the game anymore, right? Like, it still does appreciable damage because her super does more damage than other supers and scales better, right? But it's not as much damage in the end. I just feel this change, even though it's a universal change, it disproportionately affects Lily. Like, even if Little is like, stand light kick did not induce the advanced scaling, that would mean a lot. That would actually mean a lot. So yeah, Lily has buffs. You know, cool stuff on the big home run swings, able to get the level 1 super in a lot more situations she never could before. That's great. But on the stock bread and butter situation, she's doing less damage overall. And that's frustrating because she's not a character that needs to do less damage. So just for that alone, I consider her a loser. Now, next up, we're going to talk Dee Jay. So Dee Jay, I don't think anyone's going to argue it, right? Compared to the other characters that were considered universally strong, like Luke, like Jury, they all got some small stuff, but Dee Jay just felt like he ate it much worse than everybody else. It's not to say he doesn't have new tools to play around with, right? Because he has new things. So there we go. We have all new combo routes, right? Thanks to like the EX projectile having higher juggle potential. Now, are these combo routes as good as the old combo routes? Maybe not, especially because some of the old combo routes, due to the change of how his juggle system works, don't even exist anymore. But there is new stuff. You know, not the least of which is every combo is going to scale harder because Stand Heavy Punch has additional combo scaling added to it, which, you know, it's a really good button, so it's not unfair, but your damage will be lower across the board, right? His neutral will be less dominant just because, like, the old bazooka knee is just less stupid, right? It just doesn't beat everything above him as well as below him. The extent of, like, his new combo routes will have to be, you know, found out in time, but it's just, suffice to say, he just has less damage across the board. He has less options across the board. A lot of his all-timers and, you know, party starters just aren't going to party quite as hard as it did before, because even like the Funky Slicer is another one where if you start a combo with it, you're going to do less damage. Like for Lily, I said she's doing a lot more damage across the board, you know, in the high octane situations. And even with Lily do more damage, didn't necessarily make her a winner, right? But Dee Jay is doing less damage across the board, just flat out, right? So if Lily can do more damage, not be a winner, Dee Jay doing less damage is definitely him being a loser. There's no other way to put it, right? Like he's got a couple other buffs too, besides, you know, new combo routes. Like the level 1 got buffed as we went over in the patch video, which I don't think is of much consequence, to be honest with you. I'd rather keep the meter and go for the more traditional whiff punishes, which are still, admittedly, among the best in the game. Don't get me wrong, right? Even with Dee Jay nerfed, he's still better than most of the cast. A nerfed Dee Jay is still better than, like, a buffed Manon. But it just feels like they came at him with knives out in a way they didn't do with other very strong characters like Luke and Jury. And it's just a real oddity in that way. So I have to put Dee Jay as one of the losers of the patch. Although for one little bright light, against the Akuma army that's certainly to come, Dee Jay, thanks to the slide, really just doesn't care about air fireballs. Like you see it, you literally can just slide on reaction. Like it's no big deal. So if he tosses it, you slide. If you catch him with a punish counter, you can get a good follow-up. Or you just see the jump, no matter, and just slide, and you'll always recover before him. If it's just threatened at all, oh, okay, just go for it. And almost certainly you'll be able to just jab him on your landing. So, like, that's something, I guess. So, overall, that's my thoughts on the patch as far as winners and losers go. Overall, like, if you want to call for what is, almost everyone's a winner, right? Most characters are entering this patch better than they left it, right? Obviously, there's some standouts that we've gone over. But overall, for the most part, the majority of the cast is doing better off. Remains to be seen where the tier list will shake out, because, you know, previously strong characters like Luke, some tiny nerfs, he's still basically the best character. Ken will remain good. You know, Blanca, with all the latest inventions and tech over the last couple months, right? Will he be higher up on the list, even with a couple of nerfs? Yeah, probably, right? And then, of course, we'll have new challengers who, you know, the top tiers. We'll see how Ryu shakes out. Obviously, Akuma's going to be a thing one way or another, right? So, interesting times are ahead. Those are just my thoughts. If you got some thoughts on who you consider winners or losers in the patch, please post them in the comments below. But other than that, that is the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.